Morning. Beautiful sleep here by the loch. Hear the logging lorries going up the road to pick up their cargo empty. That's what I've got to find my way up to now through this. Maybe there's some kind of path here. I'm gonna have a look maybe further down. Normally at the edges of beaches you get some kind of path where people have been using, so I'm gonna have a look over there if there's an easier way up than the route I came down yesterday. So if you're up this way and you're a bit less adventurous, you don't want to risk ankle and limb getting to the loch down there. There are places where you can camp near the road. You can see someone's put a fire pit here, so you could use these. I should have looked at the map more carefully. There is another track here off the road that takes you to another part of the loch, all the way down to the beach. I just checked now on the map. So anyway, I enjoyed my little adventure last night down there. This would have been too easy. So what a difference a day makes. Today, my woolly hat's on, 3 layers. There's a really chilly easterly wind coming in. Up there, where they're doing the forestry works, there was a 4G signal, so I stopped for about 10 minutes, 20 minutes to check my messages and all that kind of stuff. I was freezing. No moaning though. There's a spring in my step now that hot weather's gone. A bit of a mouthful, this one. Clattering Shores Loch comes into view. So this is a pickup point on the Southern Upland Way near Brown Knowe, where there's a company that will pick you up and take you somewhere where you can get accommodation and supplies and stuff like that. I think, you know, if you're not carrying like if you're not crazy enough to carry 2 weeks worth of food on the Southern Upland Way and all your backpacking kit, you can use this. And there's, because this section for the next 3 days, this is really remote. I'm talking, this is like the Cape Wrath Trail remote. There's nothing. Yeah, no, I'm craving a Coca-Cola. I ain't getting that. For miles to next village. I think there's a village down there, maybe. I don't know where that is. That's too far away. Those of you that have been subscribed to my channel for a few years will know that I took on the Cape Wrath Trail in 2017, I think. Anyway, that trail, I didn't complete it because I was walking with someone I'd met on the Hebridean Way, and we ended up having an argument which was probably brought on by lack of food for both of us, and I took a taxi into Ullapool from the Cape Wrath Trail, intending to stock up and then get back onto the trail. Well, that didn't happen. I just never had the willpower to get back onto the trail again after that. And I learnt a very important lesson in walking, in backpacking. You have to be your own man. You have to make your own decisions. If you are going to walk with someone, make sure you know that person like a brother. or sister, whatever. Yeah, because long distance walking is a mental endurance above any physical activity. Yeah, because I take the physical activity all day, no problem. Mentally, it's really, really tough. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that for a trail like this, again, which is, in my opinion, nearly as remote as the Cape Wrath Trail, there was no way I was coming here without having all my food. So that's why I'm carrying 2 weeks worth of food. So I'm on expedition settings. There's no you know, I'm not going to be doing this in record time. I ain't going to have I done this in 8 days plastered all over the YouTube videos. You know, I know a lot of people like to do that. You know, they think that there's some kind of kudos you get if you do these as quickly as possible. Nah, I'm carrying everything. This is an expedition. You saw I'm already having problems. My X-bed mat blew up. I fixed it, it held, it's holding, but if I didn't have those things to repair it, I'd be sleeping on the ground. And that could be you know, that could be a reason why someone would give up if that goes. And you know, like, you've got to have redundancies in your kit you carry. I know a lot of people like to be like ultra lightweight, not carry nothing, get their kit into like a really condensed form so they can post their Gucci Instagram posts about how light and how small their kit is. No, I know these trails, you're gonna get problems, you're gonna get harsh realities of nature on these trails. What I'm trying to show in my videos, that there is another way. You can do these trails with 30 pounds, 40 pounds on your back, carrying all your food. Yeah, it's not impossible. Yeah. Yesterday I was passed by 2 guys. They had massive rucksacks. Okay, they were younger than me, but they were flying on the trail and they probably way ahead of me. And I'm pretty sure their rucksacks were the, you know, those Ospreys with the back suspension, so they're carrying serious weight in there. You don't use a rucksack like that if you've got like 15 pounds or 20 pounds in there. Those are meant to carry 40, 50 pounds on your back. So I hope, like I said with these videos, to show that there are many ways to walk these trails, especially in Britain. So what I'm saying is carry what you are physically capable of carrying. Carry what you want. Don't try and copy anyone else. Everyone is different. Yeah, just because you see someone doing it that way doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Get out on the trail and try, experiment. I see lots of people asking, oh, should I take this, should I take that, do I need this, do I need that? How can anyone explain that to you? How can anyone know? You have to find out whether you want that, whether you need that, whether you can go without that. And the only way you're going to do that is not by listening to someone else who doesn't know you, doesn't know what you're capable of. It's by actually trial and error. Get out there, try, see if you need it. Sure, you can get advice. You know, like I remember when I bought my Lunar Solar, I asked on YouTube 2 or 3 people that had that tent. I asked their opinions. These are people that I'd known from YouTube, who I watched their videos, so I trust their opinion. And they gave me their opinions and they were correct. So, went deep in those woods for another bear stop. If you've never done this before and you've never done it like a bear in the outdoors, and so you won't come to realise that it's how nature intended it to be the first time you do it. And you also realise that how great your toilet is at home. Yeah, you love it when you get back home having a real toilet. even though they're chopping it down all over the place, there's so much forest around here. Look at that, that is really dense in there. That's why I went for the bear stop. I walked through that, now on to open moorland now. You see there's marker posts along here. You can see them. The mist is, if the mist was down, there's no path, there's virtually no path here. If the mist was down, I'd have to navigate, but I don't need to. My eyes are my navigation tools here. But it's coming up to 10 miles. If I can find water, I might wild camp up here somewhere. Because I don't want to get into, there's some kind of town down there in about 6 miles. I don't like to hit it 6, 7 o'clock. It's 5, well, it's going to be 5:36, and then have to, it looks like there's a bit of road walking, then I'll have to have to walk quite a bit to find somewhere to wild camp. So I'm looking now. I don't care, it's only 10 miles, 12 miles, I'm not interested. This is a beautiful setting. The weather looks like it's closing in, or it might be going further away. I managed to get some mobile signal. It seems to be just cloudy, the rain is gone, still a bit of mist in the air though. Nice cool breeze. I haven't even drunk a litre of water today. Still got it. And here we have it. This is going to be my water. I'll get a little cup. This is just going to be for cooking, so I'm going to tablet it and boil it. It'll be fine, it looks clear. Boiling tab. The rolling boil for a couple of minutes. It'll kill everything. If there is anything, I don't think there's nothing in this. Found it. Found my resting stop for the night. If you can see that marker post, that's the Southern Upland Way. Up here, it's like a little, I think this is probably called a knoll or something. Anyway, it's a nice flat bit, nice, flat, soft. It's high up, so it's not boggy. Perfect. I'm going to put my tent here. If anyone's wondering why I have these bits of Dyneema attachments everywhere, I'll tell you a story. I once came across a couple of girls on the West Highland Way. It was about 7 o'clock in the evening, and they were in a terrible state. They couldn't find their tent poles, and their pegs, they had fallen out of their rucksack while they were walking. Of course I helped them look for it, but we couldn't find it, and they went on the way. Luckily they were close to a town. I can't remember exactly where it was, but they had to walk even in the dark. I made sure they had a torch. They did. They just walked on. But if you're wild camping, you got to keep things, especially on a hill. If it's blowing, you want your tent pegs, you want your tent, you want the poles attached to the rucksack. And also it helps when you're tidying up as well, so you don't lose nothing. You've got to have your little routine you go through. So keep your most important survival things attached to that rucksack. That rucksack, you don't lose that. And you don't lose those tent pegs or the tent poles or your tent.
Have you seen that episode in the X-Files with the fireflies in the forest? Well, it's a bit like that here with the midges. Only difference is that these midges are harmless, unlike those fireflies in the X-Files that were released from tree cuttings. There's a real nice sunset brewing, but I don't want to go out there because I'm going to get covered in them. And then I'm going to bring them in the tent because they just like to catch onto your clothes. They're getting everywhere. When I said they're harmless, they are harmless, but they're annoying and they bite you. Actually, it's not even a bite, they just nibble on you. This is a collapsible bottle which I use as a pee bottle. The midges are one of the reasons why. Because you don't want to be going out there now to answer a call to nature. It will be carnage. Much easier to do it inside this bottle and then slowly open the side of the tent and pour it out there quickly and bring it back inside before they cotton on to what's going on.